Ooh. Who's that? Who's that? Ooh. Who's that? Ooh. Raiden wins. Already know playing Mortal Kombat on the Dreamcast. They don't want no smoke. Who's that? Oh, you got me messed up. Who's that? With that being said, let's get it started, y'all, man.
What's up? It's the BIGFATHER. You are now tuned back into the gaming channel, rocking with me. Let's get it. You dig?
106 advanced life forms have landed on the dark planet to attempt friendly first contact. Not a single one has returned.
Uncle Scorp!
This is the dark, sick truth behind the brand Balenciaga. Let's start with their disgusting ad campaign, and no, I'm not worried about the devil drawing on the top right. What I am worried about is the caution tape on the bottom left that misspells Balenciaga B-A-A-L. If we search up B-A-A-L, we get King Baal, who in the Bible, if you sacrificed your firstborn child to him, you would get riches in return, as stated in Jeremiah 19:5. Kim Kardashian wore the tape as an outfit. It was spelled correctly, but it looks like she's no stranger to the word ball.
She goes Balenciaga. Ball. Balenciaga. I'm a baller.
This is Lada Volkova, who is the chief stylist of Balenciaga, and it looks like she's into some really sick things.
The Iraq War was a lie. There's a theory that the U.S. remained in Iraq for over a decade after it was liberated, not for oil, but for reasons far more significant. In the 1920s, a discovery by a British explorer hinted at the world's most ancient stargate, which is a device that allows travel between planets almost instantly. It was located at what is known today as the Great Ziggurat. By the 1980s, Saddam Hussein had heavily secured this ancient site, officially to block explorers from uncovering its secrets. Reports have since surfaced of unusual ancient technology emerging from the Great Ziggurat, believed to have been transported via the Stargate from a highly advanced civilization. Numerous individuals have come forward, alleging participation in top-secret projects involving Stargate technology. This has led to speculation about the real reasons behind the substantial investment of money and resources in Iraq. So is it possible that we've been there this entire time so we could get our hands on advanced ancient technology?
For some mysterious reason, there have been several strange sightings going on all over the world, and lately there's a new trend where you can buy these military green lasers pointed specifically at the stars, and they will reply or respond to the green laser. What's going on here? Check this out. This is really crazy.
Sí, es que debe ser un metal grande o un espejo, no sé por qué. No, porque se dio filete en negra. Porque para que rebote de esa forma, claro, ¿cachai? Eso no es una linterna, ya cachamos que no es una linterna.
In this video recorded in Santiago del Chile, these guys actually get a response from the star, or at least what appears to be a star. But it happened in other places. Keiko Verdejo captured something similar in another location. He points the laser at the star, and at first what appears to be a star disappears, and then it shines the laser back at him somehow. This is super crazy. A lot of people are starting to think that maybe some of the stars aren't stars at all, and there are a lot of theories to maybe the fact that we're living inside of some sort of simulation. I don't know if you watched The Truman Show, where there's this star that falls from the sky and he actually finds out that the star isn't a star at all. It's actually something else. What's your take? What do you think is really going on here?
I don't know why that one chain is swinging back there. Don't know if you can see that in the video or not. Yeah, this mine definitely has a very spooky vibe to it. So I'm going to head back out and check out the other stuff that's here. This is just too wet, too muddy. And obviously something is making the chains swing. So time to get the hell out of here.
Rockefeller's playing to scan the world. work. In the 19th century, oil was used to mainly lubricate steam engines, and being the second most abundant resource on Earth, it wasn't a valuable resource until it was discovered that it could be used as fuel. And the man leading the charge, John Rockefeller. Well, to increase profit, Rockefeller had to make it seem like oil was a scarce resource, sending his scientists to the 1892 Geneva Convention to put up the front that oil contained hydrogen, carbon, and oxygen. Therefore, it had to have come from something organic. Thus, the term fossil fuels. However, it was never actually proven that oil came from fossils, and that while oil rigs drill up to 35,000 feet, a fossil has never been found below 16,000 feet. On top of that, Rockefeller donated over $180 million to the General Education Board, and now every textbook states that oil is a fossil fuel. So, did oil really come from fossils?
A potentially deadly fungus that's apparently spreading throughout hospitals.
Cases have been reported in at least 30 states.
No, I refuse to believe this. Right at the start of 2020, people stood up and shut the whole world down. No one's allowed to leave home. But today, COVID is harmless. No one cares if you're infected with the virus. It's just another flu, apparently. Billions of PCR COVID swabs were conducted. We paid. American, Chinese, and British vaccines were sold to governments worldwide. They told us about 72% of the world population got vaccinated. What you are seeing now could be one of those, boys, we made a lot of money. Let's do it one more time in 2024. I'm sure many of you have seen The Last of Us. Now, it is true, the type of zombie fungus that they refer to in the series is a real fungus that does exist. However, based on health institutions, this fungus only affects insects and does not affect human beings. Yet, let's say it does, one day. Maybe some Chinese or American labs modify this fungus and they let it explore. We'll have zombies attacking us. I'm not getting vaccinated, bro. I'm going old school. And you should too.
This experiment took the lives of many. In 1932, 600 black men were recruited for a study, now known as the Tuskegee experiment in Alabama. Out of 600 men, 399 of them suffered from syphilis. The study promised free medical care for the rest of their lives. However, what the men did not know was that the purpose of the study was to track the full progression of the syphilis infection. It gets worse, as the medications that were administered were fake. In 1943, when penicillin was found to be the most common cure for syphilis, the men were denied it, as it would affect the study. Researchers watched as the progression got worse, and many went blind and insane. The study ran for close to 4 decades and eventually was shut down. However, it was too late, as 3/4 of the subjects had already lost their lives. Many now wonder if this experiment was sanctioned by the government and what else they could be doing behind closed doors.
When you did nothing, you did nothing. Now, sink into the floor. Wait. Sink.
What if deep within the center of the Earth, there is another civilization? In the 17th century, a scientist named Edmund Halley put forth the theory that the Earth was hollow. Conspiracy theorists do believe for generations that this is true, and the civilization in question is called Agartha. However, it was not until Operation High Jump, the world's largest expedition to Antarctica, where Admiral Richard Byrd and his team allegedly discovered the entrance to the Hollow Earth civilization. And like all his other expeditions, he recorded down all his discoveries in his private journal, but was later ordered to remain silent by the government.
Before you come at me, I'm not saying that this is true. But many people do believe in this, and I don't know the truth. Some people believe that you can't get to the bottom of the ocean because the bottom is outer space. Now, in biblical cosmology, there is something known as the firmament. It's a very old belief in a division of the sea into upper and lower portions so that the dry land could appear. More than 9 ancient civilizations believed that the ocean and the stars above were linked inextricably. Some scientists have linked 2 major signs that could prove this. One being the unanswered questions about the missing ships and planes in the Bermuda Triangle, and 2, how black holes have been proven that they exist in the ocean. Could this be valid?
1970, a 28-year-old nursing student named Donna got a Raggedy Ann doll as a birthday present from her mother. In the apartment she shared with her roommate, Angie, Donna would keep the doll in her bed. However, the 2 women soon noticed that Annabelle seemed to wander around the room on her own. Donna and Angie began finding messages left throughout the apartment, reading, "Help us." The women then invited a medium to assist them solve their supposedly paranormal situation. The medium conducted a seance and informed the women that the doll was inhabited by the soul of a deceased 7-year-old named Annabelle Higgins. Later on, Ed and Lorraine Warren entered the Annabelle case. The Warrens thought that Annabelle was possessed by a demonic power, seeking a human host. They stated, "Spirits do not possess inanimate objects like houses or toys. They possess people." They then took Annabelle out of the apartment and to her ultimate resting place in their occult museum, hoping that her evil reign would finally come to an end.
Don't ever touch anything, and if you do, let me know. This is the worst thing in here, is that doll. I'm not gonna stare at it though. So you can take the picture, but I'm not gonna stare at it because that has done bad harm on a lot of people. You have to conjure the spirits in order to get them. You know, you're not going to get them by just walking around here.
And that's the one that's sort of depicted a little bit in this movie, correct?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
That's the Annabelle doll. Yes.
Father, and of the Son, of the Holy Spirit, amen.
What has been done is circular embolism, which is prayers, are said all the time, you know, to pray.
You have a priest to bless.
Yes, definitely.
In the early 1900s, an American family known as the Ottos committed an unspeakable offense against their young maid. In an act of retaliation, the maid gifted the young boy Robert Eugene Otto a straw-filled doll. Eugene was so fascinated with the doll that he named it after himself and dressed it in his own clothing. However, strange things began to occur around the family's home. Eugene was speaking to it as if it were a real person, and he became angry at anybody who looked at it without his permission. When something strange, mysterious, or destructive would happen, Eugene would say, "Robert did it." Eventually, Robert the doll was donated to a museum in 1994. Almost immediately, museum employees reported their own strange occurrences with the doll. Furthermore, many people have attributed tragedies that have happened in their lives to visiting Robert. Nearly 1,000 letters were sent directly to Robert, sometimes apologizing for having looked at him the wrong way while visiting the museum. It is said that if you look at him without his permission, misfortune will find you as well.
If a pilot is flying around the curve of the Earth, then he should be dipping the nose down every 5 minutes. He should be dipping the nose down to stay around the curve. But the thing that really got me interested was, as you say, the gyroscope. In a plane, there is an artificial horizon, okay, and it's based on a gyroscope. And if you spin a gyroscope on a surface, it will want to stay upright You can twist and tilt the surface as much as you like. The gyroscope will stay upright. So if a plane has a gyroscope and it starts following the curve of the Earth, the gyroscope would stay upright, which means the artificial horizon will start to roll backwards. But it doesn't. That's absolute proof that a plane flies over a flat surface rather than a curved one. Because I asked the pilot on my last flight, do you ever notice the artificial horizon rolling backwards? He said, no, but the artificial horizon has complex electronics in it to make sure it knows where it is on the Earth and it compensates. But I went to the manufacturer of the artificial horizon and they confirmed to me that it's completely mechanical, nothing electronic in it whatsoever. So it's literally just a gyroscope that can freely move. So that right there is proof to me that planes fly over a plane. None of it makes sense. The problem is that we're taught as children, this ball Earth lie, and you might ask as a child, what about the people in Australia? They're standing on the bottom of the globe, won't they fall off? And your teacher says, no, gravity. And you go, oh, okay. And you never go back to that question. But when you go back to it as an adult and start looking at it with a critical eye, right, the whole thing falls apart. As you say, the globe is spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. Neil deGrasse Tyson, who's a leading astronomer in America,
I'm Neil deGrasse Tyson, bitch.
Tells us that the Earth is not a perfect circle, it is actually an oblate spheroid. It's squashed and wider at the equator. Yeah?
So Earth, throughout its life, even when it formed, it was spinning, and it got a little wider at the equator than it does at the poles. So it's not actually a sphere, it's oblate, and officially it's an oblate spheroid. That's what we call it. But not only that, it's slightly wider below the equator than above the equator.
A little chubbier.
A little chubbier. Yeah. Chubby's a good way. It's like pear-shaped.
Yeah. So my question to him would be, why is there land at the equator? Because water will move more readily than rock. So if the Earth is spinning, the water will be collected at the equator. I mean, if you spin a wet tennis ball, you spin a wet tennis ball, the water shoots off at the equator, essentially. So all the water will be gathered around the equator. So why is there land at the equator? Doesn't make any sense. The other thing that's about the spinning Earth is looking at the stars. Now, directly above the axis of spin is the pole star, Polaris, directly over the North Pole. And we're told that the reason that all the stars spin around the North Star is because the Earth is spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. Seems to make sense, because if you put a long exposure camera pointing at the North Star, you'll see the stars will make perfect circles around, perfect star trails. The only problem is the Earth is also orbiting the Sun at 67,000 miles an hour. The Sun is moving, dragging the Earth and all the planets up that way or that way at 600,000 miles an hour. So why do we see perfect circles? Because that's the slowest speed, that's slowest motion in that mix, and yet the Earth is moving 67 times faster that way and 600 times faster that way. So you should see the stars do all sorts of strange motions, but you don't. You only see them make these perfect circles. That tells me that it's the stars that are moving, not the Earth.
Is this hole in Washington a portal to another dimension? In 1997, a man by the name of Mel Waters called into the Coast Radio show, claiming that there was a strange hole in his backyard that was 80,000 feet deep. He also said that strange things were happening like a black beam that would shoot out of the hole into the sky during periods of the day, or that his neighbor dumped his dead dog into the hole, and the next day the dog came back alive. Mel's property was located right next to the Yakima Training Center military base, and after that one phone call went public, Mel claimed that the government tried to pay him off to never speak about it again. Later, when investigators tried to get to the bottom of this, they realized that the satellite images of Mel's property had been purposely blurred off. So, what is actually down the hole?
Oh wait, there's Buffy. I don't know why you hang out with her. She is such a hoe. Why do you say that? Because I've seen her. My friend Sean had a pool party this summer. Sean? You know, Puff Daddy.
Do you believe in coincidences? In 1975, a young boy of 17 lost his life in a tragic accident while riding his moped. Shockingly, this accident occurred exactly 1 year after when his 17-year-old brother met the same fate, riding the same moped, in the same intersection, at the hands of the same taxi driver, carrying the same passenger. The devastating story of Skin and Neville, the twin brothers, is an unbelievable tale of coincidence.
By the FBI, J. Edgar Hoover, who was the founder of the FBI. Now, how did J. Edgar Hoover become the founder of the FBI? Well, J. Edgar Hoover originally was a private investigator, and he was sent to spy on Marcus Garvey. Marcus Garvey was a powerful black guy that spoke with authority and spoke with intelligence and passion. And in his era, he was trying to get people back to Africa. He had the Pan-Africanism movement. But he still was speaking out against oppression. He started a huge paper over here in this country known as the Negro Star. Long story short, they did not like that. They don't like any time you speak out against them or people start to listen to you. So they assigned J. Edgar Hoover to Marcus Garvey, and long story short, J. Edgar Hoover was a private eye who came up with the first informant program, which is where he actually hired 5 black people to infiltrate Marcus Garvey's movement, and Marcus Garvey was being shot and deported back to the West Indies. The president was so happy that J. Edgar Hoover did a great job that he gave him his own private investigation agency known as the FBI. The FBI was started to ensure that another black messiah never arises out of the black community. This is the true purpose of the FBI. Most of their surveillance and stuff like that is done on us, blacks and Latinos, and it's been like that since the 50s and the 60s. They also came up with a program called COINTELPRO. The FBI knows who every single one of us is, and they are watching every single one of us. Now, is every single person working in the FBI bad? No, they are not. But I have made statements saying fuck the FBI in the past, and I'm saying that because I say fuck what the FBI stands for, because I understand that a big part of it is to spy on us and to hurt us, not to help us. But you do have some good people, some good agents that work for the FBI that want to do the right thing. But guess what? When those agents try to do the right thing, like when you had the Pizzagate scandal going on, a lot of those agents end up getting fired, or they ended up dying mysteriously. So when you do have people in law enforcement that try to do the right thing, they either get fired or they end up dying mysteriously and stuff like that. So that's why we always say fuck 12, because we understand that they don't give a fuck about us. But once again, you have freedom of speech. So I can say fuck 12, fuck them, fuck the FBI, fuck whoever. If I'm not doing anything physically, then you have no reason to bother me. I said, but once again, I thought that we have a First Amendment right to freedom of speech, but I see that we don't. Okay? So COINTELPRO is all about the spread of misinformation and disinformation, assassinations, false imprisonment, of public figures, of people who try to bring people of color together and to stand up against them politically. Anyone who done that has been attacked. Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X, some of the more famous names, Martin Luther King, Angela Davis, Huey P. Newton, Bobby Seale, Fred Hampton. They were assassinated through COINTELPRO programming. Mumbia Ali, Dr. Sebi was killed through COINTELPRO. Nipsey Hussle was killed through COINTELPRO. A lot of people don't know these things. These are all facts. And they spread this information. A lot of that is what they do to tear down the image of the individual, of the target.
Want to know how they ended up on Epstein Island?
Yes. Please.
They auditioned to be models for music videos.
Oh, casting couch.
When they got to Miami, they had to show and turn over their ID. And they collected their passports. And then they drugged them. And then the next thing you know, they were in a storage container getting fucked by a bunch of weird strangers on camera who were bidding for all of the terrible things that were happening to them live online.
Wow.
After they made it through that, that's when they were sent to Rick Ross's music videos, shoots, as groupies and extras to make sure that they could walk around in society without looking like victims. And then after that, that's when they were shipped off to Epstein Island to be broken in and to be readied for Dubai and Moscow. When they got into the boat and I looked at them, they didn't have to tell me shit. And neither one of them, none of them, they didn't speak for weeks. But when you spend time with strangers and they finally feel safe enough to go to sleep and then they start talking in their sleep and you hear the shit that they yell.
But wait a minute. You didn't never go to that island, did you?
No. I don't know where that thing at.
These three girls that I'm telling you about were in videos that are being played online today. And they appeared in those videos after they had already been sodomized, systematically beaten, starved.
Voting for the president is bullshit. It's the biggest Jedi mind trick ever. The votes did not get Trump into office. The elite did. Votes didn't put him in office. The elite did. It doesn't matter who's sitting at the table being the president. The president does not make any decisions. The Rothschilds do. The Bilderbergs do. It's the elite, the bankers. You could call them the Illuminati. You could call them the 13 families. You could call them whatever. You could call them whatever the fuck you want to call them. Call them Thanos. But if you think that they're going to allow you in your vote to shift the world's power and give them the world that they have taken from you, you're stupid.
Crazy old man in church was right.
Video was released a couple of days ago, showing a man who was presumed dead coming back to life in a horrific zombie-like fashion. This video allegedly came from a morgue in China. Now, There's already many articles explaining that if a zombie apocalypse were to begin, the likely epicenter of it would be China. However, many people are saying that China being China would have likely covered it up and not let anyone find out. And if you're just hearing about it now, you are too late.
What's your proposition?
Well, how would you blokes like to make some real money?
Well, and who do we have to,
No, nothing like that. You see, I'm collecting stupid little boys.
Stupid little boys?
You know, the disobedient ones what play hooky from school. And you see, yes. And I takes them to Pleasure Island.
Pleasure Island. Pleasure Island? But the law, suppose they...
No, there's no risk. They never come back as boys.
Happening within our DNA because the frequencies are being pushed off. But when we hear our tone, we tighten back up. So yeah, I'm in the process of building the harmonic wave resequencer with another doctor who has been able to successfully cure AIDS and cancer. And it's well underway. But I wanted you guys to understand how that works. It's so simple. You do not need to tear the human body apart when all you can do is use frequency to bring it back to its normal space.
In the dim glow of midnight, Terrence Howard descended from the shadows, bearing secrets that could shatter reality itself.
Do you think that the reason that we have like economic crises, for example, is because we are not understanding our numbers correctly according to your theory?
Well, I think we have an economic problem because we are the only creatures in this universe that use currency. There are no other creatures that use currency in order to exist. Why is it that we chose this strange thing that isn't even real? Other creatures, they drink water, they eat fruit, they eat other animals. We exchange with currency, and our system of exchanging with currency is flawed because of greed. There's not like if 1 times 1 equals 2, we've got an equilibrium of balance. 1 times 1 equals 1, you've got loss. When 1 times 1 equals 3 or more, you're talking about over unity and supersymmetry. And that's how you get the universe to work for you. Instead of using just the solar voltaics off of it, you also use the piezoelectric effects of it. You use other things to make greater unity. But 1 times 1 equaling 1, when it could also equal a pound times a pound equaling a pound, when it could also equal $4 or $10 or $100, does that make sense to you? Do you think the banks are abusing that?
In 1950, it was decided that Jane and Joe public could not handle the truth about monsters. That should focus on more important things like paying taxes. So the government convinced the world monsters were stuff of myth and legend, and then locked them away in this here facility.
Happened to Die Glocke. It was rumored that during the war, the Germans were working on a miracle weapon called Die Glocke, or the bell. The weapon stood around 15 feet tall and was said to be housed in a military facility known as Die Rises, underneath a circular stone structure called the hinge. A hieroglyphic decorated the bottom of the Nazi bell, and when in operation, 2 cylinders within the weapon structure were filled with a substance called serum 525, which created some sort of advanced anti-gravity effect, as the bell was known to be chained to the hinge to prevent it from flying off. People have claimed that the bell allowed the user to access visions of the past and future from the inner surface, warping time and space, while others claim that it could create solid crystals of any tissue or living creature exposed to it, potentially eliminating the enemy's entire army. However, when the Germans lost, all the technology disappeared, and only the facilities it was created in were left, leaving many thinking, who has the bell?
You fucking lied to me?
Oh, I never lied. No. See, you just chose to believe something that wasn't real. Sound familiar, Doc?
Get my fucking money back, you piece of shit!
Or what? What are you gonna do?
I will find you and fucking kill you, motherfucker, you hear me? You got nothing to hide behind.
You know what's
now,
worse than a thief? An arrogant thief.
I just found their doctor's office number, matched my caller ID with that, and then requested an invoice after saying that the previous payment didn't go through.
Yeah. Now we've got about 1 minute until it happens. So if you don't want me to call the cops, you might want to get your phone out and tune into this station.
Just take the fucking money and leave me alone.
Oh, put on your big boy pants and wipe your tears and tune into that radio station, or you're gonna miss it. And trust me, you don't want to miss this.
On February 19, 2013, guests at the Cecil Hotel in downtown Los Angeles complained of water problems, specifically brown-colored water that had a weird taste. But when the hotel staff went to the roof to check the water tank, they would uncover a mystery that till today remains unsolved. Floating inside the tank was the deceased naked body of 21-year-old Elisa Lam. Prior to this, Elisa was reported missing for weeks. A strange and unusual clip of her acting out inside the hotel elevator was believed to be her last known sighting, where she was seen hiding, then pressing all the buttons and speaking to someone who wasn't there. A deeper investigation further revealed that she had been posting a string of unusual posts to her Tumblr account, indicating that she was being followed and stalked by someone ever since she landed in Los Angeles. Even though the circumstances leading to her death remain unknown, it was ruled that she died of drowning in the water tank. However, skeptics are still trying to figure out.
No disrespect to what y'all got going on. I've been trying to find good people for so long. I'm tired, bro.
Megalodon is still alive. The TikToker Shark Wahlberg recently brought to light that 2 great white sharks have gone missing. In using the data from SeaWorld Shark Tracker, it shows that the missing sharks have been traveling distances at speeds that are nearly impossible for a shark of that size. Furthermore, temperature data coming from the trackers of the missing sharks are consistent with the data of creatures when they get eaten and are in the belly of other predators. So, what could have eaten a shark as large as the great white shark? This is why many people say that.
Meet the twins, and Bob. This map shows the location of every registered alien on Earth at any given time, some of them under constant surveillance. Everyone on those screens is an alien. In public, they're as normal as you are, but in private, well, you'll get the idea.
People slipping out of time at this park. Thompson Park in New York has been notorious for weird encounters, especially time slips. Many people who enter the park have said they were mysteriously transported to different parts of the park and have lost hours that they can't account for. Some people even claim that their loved ones have gone missing, and when they found them, they were all disoriented, dizzy, and confused. An Instagram user actually recently said she was in the park with her boyfriend and his family. According to her, they were just taking a casual stroll, and they were only gone for 20 minutes. But when they returned, her boyfriend's family was out searching for them with park officials, as they were allegedly gone for 2 hours. Furthermore, investigators have also noticed that there's an unusually high electromagnetic field surrounding the park. Is time travel possible? And
put my fucking fucking number on there? You put my fucking number on the radio? Why the fuck would you do this?
Well, you ought to know you bought it.
What the fuck? No, I didn't. It's illegal to put my number on the radio. It's fucking private fucking information.
Oh, I know. But that's why I didn't. You're the one who bought the ad. You see, you sent money directly to them, not me. You did this. Brilliant, isn't it?
You made me send the fucking money to them. You stole my
You stole. I simply asked, and in turn you gave. See, I was just a poor man with leverage, and you were a rich man with arrogance.
Fuck you! I will fucking kill you! You hear me, nigga? You fucking put my number out there to the fucking world? You a sick piece of shit!
No, I'm not. See, I'm not a monster. I'm just ahead of the curve.
Just stop! You're not the fucking joker, okay? And tell them to stop fucking calling me!
Right now, it doesn't really matter if I am or not. What matters is, you should probably take that.
Leave me the fuck alone!
You know, I would suggest you be a little nicer to those calling you.
Oh yeah? Yeah? Or how about you stop fucking with me? How about you don't put my fucking number out in public? Huh? Or how about you just leave me the fuck alone? How about that shit?
Just look at you, all riled up. You raise your voice and you deepen your tone, trying to pretend to be bigger than you are, acting just like the animals we tell ourselves we are.
Shut up! Shut the fuck up!
If you want to get out of this unscathed tonight, you're gonna have to make a sacrifice. What a terrible situation. Your freedom hanging in the balance of chance. Each phone call comes at a cost. The stakes are high.
Just shut up! Shut the fuck up! Hello?
Hey, this that motherfucker.
No! Fuck!
Oh no! Strike two.
Oh, please!
Who's it gonna be this time?
No!
Oh, how about Uncle Walt?
No, please!
Now this
bro.
would make for some
Not him,
awkward
bro,
table
please.
talk at the next family dinner,
Hey, my
huh?
family, bro, please!
Well, let's hope Uncle Walt is colorblind, because he's about to see your true colors. Oh, relax. Who really likes their uncles? I
Shut
probably
up!
did you a favor.
Shut the fuck up!
Kraken is real. According to stories, no sea monster was as horrifying as the Kraken. This huge, many-armed creature could reach as high as the top of a sailing ship's mast, wrapping their arms around the hull to crush it before capsizing it. What's amazing about the Kraken stories is that of all the sea monster tales that we've heard, this one has evidence based on something real. In July 2012, scientists filmed the first video of a live giant squid swimming some 2,000 feet below the surface of the Pacific Ocean. The creature was 55 meters long and was said to be a baby version of what it could grow up to be. So, is it so hard to believe that? What is the government so afraid of? The U.S. Navy sets off a 40,000-pound bomb in the Atlantic Ocean, 100 miles from the coast of Florida, saying that it was only a military exercise. However, looking at the footage of the explosion, it definitely didn't seem like a regular military exercise. Furthermore, it's known that there are unknown creatures or aliens living deep in the ocean. So, could it be possible that it wasn't a military exercise, but a cover-up to take out a deadly threat in the ocean? With this suspicious military exercise, many are asking,
hand.
Pull. Pull.
Oh, David, what have you done? Are you a maniac? This is real. Sorry, this is real. That's real. That's not a trick. Oh, for fuck's sake. Fucking hell!
In the 1940s, Jack and Amelia Layton threw a Halloween party in Rochester. As the guests started arriving, she noticed someone in a costume lurking outside watching the party through a window. Believing it was her friend Jan, who tends to go above and beyond with her Halloween costumes, she let the person in. However, 20 minutes later, Jan showed up, and that guest was nowhere to be found. Amelia starts panicking and runs around the house looking for that person. Finally, she looks in her daughter's bedroom, but it was too late. The only thing left was her daughter's bloody shoe. That night, 4 reports of the same person abducting children came in, and none of those kids were ever found.
Okay, I'm saying this in a nutshell because it's very important. I want to get it all out on your show. Nobody's going to say this for fear of clone torture, remote-controlled death, or death by lizards 1,000 times until you die by a heart attack or something. But I figured I have to tell people because, well, they're getting me there anyway. Like, they eased up lately asking me not to talk about it anymore, but I'm just going to. Well, the lizards have a thing, okay? They have what's called a proboscis. There's lizards out there today that have a proboscis on their face, okay? These things got it in the middle of their head, okay? And on the top of their head, this is the real type 1 and 2. The type 2 have a proboscis sheath that comes out, it sticks out. The type 1s, for instance, it's like a chocolate chip, it looks like, basically the tip of it. Now, at one point in these things' lives, because they have a long lifespan, the lizard species, one point in their life, they can slowly wiggle this thing out, eject it, and it goes into somebody's eyeball, okay, another animal. Now, it wiggles in by the sense of taste. They described this to me so, like, when I was like 18 years old there, and told me about it different times throughout the years of going there. They can bring you there every single night if they want to, and they did bring me there every night. They laughed at me when I said I was going to tell the world about this. They said, nobody's ever going to believe me. You won't put it together in a eloquent way. People will think that technology isn't that advanced yet with cloning because they just clone the sheep, right? No. They've been cloning people a long time this way. Thing is, the lizard, okay, the thing squiggles in through the eye. It does a spiral around the optic nerve all the way to a certain point, and it's driven there by taste. And they said once it gets there, it has the taste of butterscotch, and then it does a feeling like holding your breath and going, pushing outwards. And at the tip of this chocolate chip, it then starts what they call sweating the quill. Now, the spinal cord stuff comes out of the spinal cord, out of the chocolate chip thingy, and it's everything that the lizard is. The lizard's whole body is dead. The little lizard thing is dead, and it can't go back in. Can't get back in. It's one way. Once it excretes this stuff, sweats this quill thing, the person's debilitated for an unknown amount of time. I don't know how long. But when they come back, they have to have some recovery time. But when they come back, they are not the person anymore. They are then the lizard. Let me put this to you flatly. The old person's consciousness is gone. The body is absolutely, totally dominated, and the lizard is smarter as a human then, and totally controls everything. Over time, it'll develop a rash, it'll lose its hair. Thing is, these things are all over the place, and they mimic human behavior. In fact, one of their names in the past is Mimic.
Well, it's interesting.
Some of their names.
Because when we look at, say, psychopathy, for example, the psychopathic mentality, psychopaths learn very early on in life to mimic proper human behavior because they know that they're very different from other people, and they learn how to mimic emotions and things like that. So it's a similar type of thing, isn't it?
A lot of the people that you hear about in the news that are getting people and chopping them up in the basement and eating them and stuff, frying them up, these are what they call drones. They're parasited hosts of the lizards. They like to make them. The only thing a drone wants to do is make more, have sex, and torture someone. Like, it's a different kind of mentality. It's hard to explain. When they at the cloning station, when they victimize someone, it gives them a powerful feeling, and it's the nerdy way, you know, that nerdy aspect of it. I got something over someone, but they do that to the extreme. Oh, and alien abductions. Let me tell you something. They videotape alien abductions. They set up alien abductions with Hollywood makeup and stuff. Like, not all of them. I can't say all of them. Some of them might be real for all I know. But I've seen the set. It's a really crappy looking saucer. You just walk up a ramp into it. They never see the outside of it. But they clone people, right? And then activate them when they're on the slab strapped down. Now someone goes in with a gray mask and the mask is made of chicken skin, okay? Just to give it that aspect of realism, dyed gray chicken skin, so it'll look real. And does it look real? Stretched over a mask, right? And they have the mask on. They go in and have sex with the people, and they videotape it and the people's faces to see their reactions and stuff. It's the government and celebrities doing this to people, because I'll tell you how the celebrities got into it. Back in the past, it was a political thing. They bring all the leaders of the countries in together, and they can all chat about stuff and enjoy this, sacrilegious, forbidden place, this cloning thing, and do whatever they can't do in real life. Well, they got real bored with each other because most of them are fat and ugly and bald and stuff. So they started bringing celebrities there. This is why JFK died, by the way. And Marilyn Monroe. JFK was going to talk about it, the cloning station. He didn't want to go. She didn't want to go. They had her there too. They said, we'll torture you at the cloning station if you talk about it. Anyway, yeah, that's like a big thing. That's why he died. Like, man. So anyways, it's not the fifth dimension. It's just the cloning station. And cloning station with your clone pre-injected with drugs. The lizard thing. They just totally take them over. They do it a lot. It used to be, it's a Luciferian thing. They said that these lizards were the sons of Satan or whatever, Lucifer or whatever. They're not, though. They're just a species of lizard that survived the extinction of the dinosaurs by being way, way underground. I'll just tell you, I know it sounds retarded. The damn things can talk, okay? But they don't have a tongue. I'll tell you about their mouths. It takes a while. Basically, they have a blood spike, okay? This is what they call a chupacabra, too. They come up from underground different spots all over the world, right? Like worms out of a rotten apple, different spots, and then they infiltrate the society there. But the drones today have erased, of 100 years ago, erased any existence of these real lizards from, like, Egyptian carvings on walls. They would smash them, right? Or books that had anything in them about them, they would burn them. Because drones don't want to get found out and sent off and killed.
1960, two men decided to try to get to the bottom of the Mariana Trench in this vessel. Even though scientists were almost positive that they wouldn't find anything at 36,000 feet due to the great pressure, the men carried on with their journey. However, after a 5-hour descent to the bottom, the men were shocked when they started hearing weird sounds of something grinding against their ship. And to their horror, on their monitor they saw a massive shadow with 3 heads. But when they reported this, the team on the surface brushed it off, thinking they were just seeing things because of how tired they were. It was only when they got to the surface where they realized that the walls of the ship, which were 5 inches thick, were completely destroyed. Even though most of the crew deny it, The two explorers were positive that they found the mythical creature called Leviathan.
Project MKUltra is said to have begun in the early 1950s, and for almost 20 years, the CIA's experiments exposed many unwitting Americans to drugs, hypnosis, sensory deprivation, abuse, and torture. The entire extent of the program will never be known, because MKUltra programs were so secret that even the agents running the CIA front companies were said to be unaware of anything beyond their own operations. But what we do know is frightening. MKUltra's goal was to look into techniques of manipulating and affecting the mind. There were approximately 100 other experiments, such as brainwashing, drug testing to cause amnesia, paralysis, and the inability to perform physical activities. For MKUltra, this was just the tip of the iceberg. The research did not end there, and that is why